Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back to The Local Show, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to have you along on this weekend that, I know you have better things to do, but you spend time here with Steve and I. And what makes this weekend even more special is that Steve's not here. And we have Bob Holden-Betts, an old friend of mine, who has decided to come on and be kind of fill in for Steve. Thank you, Bob.
Yeah, it's been great.
You having fun so far?
I am.
Good. It's not as exciting as beekeeping. He is a beekeeper on the side and has been for about 7 years. How much do you get stung? Have you gotten stung a lot?
Usually, when I first was a beekeeper, I took a beginner beekeeping class.
Yeah.
And the guy from Kentucky came up that taught it, and he said two things about being a beekeeper. One is your bees are going to die, and number two, you're going to get stung. And it's true. It's probably, I'd say, 6 or 7 times a year a season, which isn't so bad, but it's...
So you can't be allergic to bees if you're going to be a beekeeper.
Correct. You shouldn't be.
You shouldn't be. Probably safer that way.
Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. Really quickly, can you tell people what's coming up with you and the girl we had on earlier, the Curd Nerd?
Yeah, so we're doing a special honey cheese pairing there. This is our second event there in Eastwood. And so we bring in different infused flavored honeys and different honeys that we have. And she, being the doctor of cheese, she pairs them up perfectly with different cheeses there.
Excellent. Yeah. All right. Well, if you need to cut the cheese, this next guest is going to be interesting for you and for all of people listening. His name is Mike Rothman, and he's the owner of Rothman Knives, rothmanknives.com. How are you there, Mike?
Good. How are you doing?
Very good, my friend. Are you from Syracuse? Is this your native town?
I am from Manlius.
Okay, Manlius. Oh, beautiful downtown Manlius, yes. That's good. And you were born and raised there?
Yep.
Very nice. Did you go to FM?
Yes, I went to FM.
Okay, that's good. And it turns out, I didn't know this. I saw you talking to our guy, Brad, who is our photography specialist and does a lot of the video editing and runs the video portion of this show and all that. You guys went to school together?
Yes.
So he did go to school.
Believe it or not, yes, he did.
I just wanted to make sure that he wasn't lying to me or anything. So, Mike, what's your background? What did you do before making knives?
So, my background is I've been welding and fab for 17 years. So that's my background.
Yeah. So when you say welding and fab, you built race cars, or what'd you weld for?
A lot of it's been industrial stuff. Like I've worked for Braun doing industrial washing machines. I've worked for Filter Tech, which is where I currently work. They build liquid filtration systems.
Okay. All that stuff. Now, when you say welding, I know just enough to be dangerous. Are you welding like MIG and TIG and all the above? All of them, huh? Okay. And that's a specialized art. Do you do any underwater welding? No.
And I have no desire to.
Where did you get your training for welding?
I went to SUNY Delhi.
Okay.
It's out in Delhi, New York.
Yeah. So after graduating from FM, you went down there?
Yep.
And what made you be interested in welding and fabrication?
I always was one of those Lego kids, like building things. Imagine that.
Yeah.
And it just seemed right.
Yeah. Was there anybody that influenced you when you were younger?
Probably my father the most.
Okay. And he's a welder?
No, he built street rods for a living.
Okay.
So really?
He was into the car thing.
Did he ever race up to ESTA?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe, because I raced up there when I was younger. What kind of street rods, like where did they race? Or did he have his own street rod, or did people hire him?
So he owned a shop doing this.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So...
Yeah, you learn from the best then, because those things have to hold together, believe it or not. You can't have a street rod. So tell us about the knife company. So the only local knife company I ever knew was Camillus Knife, right? Yeah. And now they're gone. So Rothman took over.
No,
you're not making that many knives.
Everything is 100% custom built by hand, by order.
Okay.
So there's no mass production.
Yeah.
It's typically one knife a week is what you get out of me.
Wow. Oh, wow. Okay. That's something. Yep. So when you say you make the knife, you're actually making the blade? Oh, you got some
Maybe
stuff.
you should hand some stuff over.
Yeah. Let's take a look at that, huh?
So here's this.
That one is not sharp, so you can't hurt yourself on that one. That one's in my pocket, so that one is.
Okay.
Well, so he brought dull ones in because he thought Steve might be here because Steve could hurt himself with these blades. Okay, wow. This is
Kid
nice.
safe.
So the first thing I notice is it's got a really good weight to it.
Yes,
Like really
very
good balance
weighty.
of weight. And the blade, not only is it sharp, but it's got some more design than normal on there.
Right. That one's stainless Damascus.
Okay.
Damascus, meaning
Multiple materials mixed together. Shows a pattern when you etch it.
right. Okay.
Those
So-
are just stainless.
I see. Wow. What I've never, felt a good quality knife because I would usually just buy one over to Walmart or something like that. This is incredible. So, folks, you got to really check this out on our YouTube channel. Go to Zoey Advertising, and so you can get a good look at these things as well. It's one thing to hear us talk about it, but now this one that I'm holding has kind of a blunt edge to it, so it's not like a pointy part. Now, what kind of blade is that
That's
used
called
for?
a spade blade.
Spade blade. And what's that used for?
Typically like skinning and stuff so that you don't have a sharp edge to pierce through something.
Okay, you're right. So if I started eating squirrels again, this is what I would use to skin the squirrel.
Sure.
Sure. Okay. I just want to make sure.
Yeah. So when somebody wants to order a custom knife, do you basically say, okay, here's how I do custom? The blade, what do you want the length to be, the use to be, the handle? How does all the customization come together?
Typically, so if you go on my website, there's a few patterns, like outline of pattern, like the handle pattern.
Okay.
And they basically can pick any of the ones that I have. And most times if you ask and I don't have a pattern, I'll go look for it.
Okay.
So that you can order your pattern, then your blade type, single blade, multi-blade, 3-blade, whatever, and then your handle material and your upper or lower bolsters, which are those stainless parts you see.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you only do upper bolsters depending on what somebody wants, or you can do double bolsters, which is top and bottom.
Gotcha. And with your blades, many jackknife type knives that I've had in the past go dull. You maybe whittle a little bit and then they go dull. Are your blades better? Will they stay sharper longer?
A lot of the material I use is harder than most production items.
Gotcha.
And even if they do get dull, I offer as a perk that goes with the price, mail it back to me, I'll sharpen it and send it back.
Okay. What was that called? Mallet?
I'll just mail it back.
Oh, mail
to
it
you.
back. I thought it was a special
return.
sharpening. Yes, I gotcha. What are the handles made out of?
Yeah, this handle
So
looks
those
very
are
unique.
both stag.
Okay.
This one's sandbar stag. That one's red stag.
Stag what? What do you mean stag? A deer?
Antler horn.
Antlers,
Antlers.
really? Do you have to go kill the antler? Or kill the deer?
No.
So do you make this part as well, or you order that?
I order that material,
Okay.
and then I shape it to fit.
Okay.
Now, why is antler used? Is it a harder material than like a wood handle or?
Okay, so it traditionally, these are called traditional pocket knives, so that you understand. Typically, originally, that was the most durable material that you could get. Because, they bounce off of everything in the wild, so
Right.
nothing you're going to submit it to is going to phase it.
Wow. That's incredible.
But I also do wood handles also, synthetic materials, any of the above.
So if you're a sportsman or even a hobbyist or a collector, you'd be the guy to call. Mike Rothman right there. He's the owner of Rothman Knives, and you can go online at rothmanknives.com. Do you have a store that people can walk into?
Nope.
So it's mainly mail order, right?
Mail order, phone calls.
Phone calls, okay. Give them a conversation, have a conversation with them. Thank you so much, Mike, and that's awesome that you're a craftsman like that. I'm glad to know that there's people out there doing what you do. That's excellent. All right, you have a great rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Josh Lang, the pastor of Redeemer Church, the Syracuse campus, is coming up next right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.